everyone, Gilligan Kruger 0829 here with a brief series review for this week. Today we're going to be looking at Pixar's look at automobiles, or as they like to call it, Cars. It's the breakout animated movie from 2006, and with its sequel, Cars 2, coming out tomorrow, I decided to look at both of these movies back to back. Before I talk about them, though, I want to talk about some drama that did go on with this movie. It was a bit of a gloomy movie in making it because its co-director Joe Ranft, who was a animator at Pixar as well as provided voices for several minor characters, died in a car crash during this movie's production in 2005. This also saw the last non-documentary role of great actor Paul Newman for his retirement in 2007 and then his untimely death in 2008. This even was one of the last voice works of famous comedian George Carlin, who, as you all probably know, died in 2008. Now, this review is not only going to be about negative things that happened behind the scenes of this movie, so I'll get into the good stuff about it. Let's start up our engines and roll right into Cars. Now, this movie starts at a very special race called the Piston Cup Championship, where one of the racers is our main character, an arrogant car named Lightning McQueen, voiced by Owen Wilson. His arrogance and overconfidence causes him to have a three-way tie at the end of the race between him, Strip, aka the King Weathers, a veteran racer who's voiced by NASCAR legend Richard Petty. Oh, and in case you think you've seen the whole Dynaco logo before, you have. It's the gas station in Toy Story. Don't believe me? Take a look. And thirdly, we have a grumpy, bitter runner-up race car named Chick Hicks, who's voiced by Michael Keaton. Now, since it is a three-way tie, a tiebreaker race is announced to be in California 1 week after the events of this first race. And as such, Lightning presses his semi-truck 18-wheeler driver transport, Mac, who's voiced by series regular, well, Pixar regular, John Lasseter, to get there as soon as he can. However, this costs Lightning as he's separated from Mac and he's trying to get back to him. Unfortunately, in the process, though, he comes across and wrecks up most of the main road in a rundown town called Radiator Springs. When he wakes up the next morning, we meet some of the other characters. We've got a tow truck named Mater, who's voiced to very good effect by Larry the Cable Guy. We've got a Porsche 911 and Lightning's possible love interest, Sally, played by Bonnie Hunt. And, of course, we have a Hudson Hornet named Doc Hudson, who's voiced to great perfection by the late Paul Newman. Now, Doc serves as the town's judge, and after a hearing, he sentences Lightning to fix the road, and says once he does this, he can leave. Now, Lightning's at first angry to do the project, but along the way, he's learning things about the town, its residents, and even himself that he had never heard before. And at the same time, the movie stars as a bit of a traditional, arrogant guy with a good heart turned, with a lot of surprises along the way. Now, a lot of people still say that Cars is one of Pixar's weakest movies. I completely disagree. I actually think it's one of my favorites. I think the animation is good. Pixar, of course. Everything else, from the characters to the soundtrack even, are really good. Let's start with the characters, because as I said, the animation, if it's Pixar, it's going to be great. All the characters are really well portrayed here. Owen Wilson does great as the arrogant, angry, but at the same time questionable and confused Lightning McQueen. Wilson's voice really matches the character and definitely gives off the tone that I think the filmmakers wanted him to. Larry the Cable Guy is actually pretty funny here, as, well, he's Larry the Cable Guy. I don't really know much about him, or even his first name, but I think he's a good pick for Mater. Of course, though, my favorite character is still Doc Hudson, which maybe I'm being biased because I like Paul Newman so much, but I really like this character. I like it that he's sort of an echo of Lightning in both personality and backstory, and that he's disgusted by the very fact that Lightning is so similar to him, and he doesn't want to admit it. Now, another thing I really want to talk about this movie is some of the jokes they make with the cars, actually. Like, they do regular scenes and then put in car references and gags. Funny, like, it makes fun of most every character from Jay Leno, who they jokingly call Jay Limo, even to Arnold Schwarzenegger in one scene. And a lot of this is really funny. I really like the humor they got out of this. But the thing I lastly want to talk about is the soundtrack, which really fits the movie perfectly. To give you an aspect, this movie, the songs in here don't really take over the scene and give the entire mood, but they definitely play a part. For instance, there's one scene where we're finding out the origins and backstory of Radiator Springs, and we don't get any dialogue in the scene, we just get the song Our Town by James Taylor, and it really gives this a sad feeling to know what happened to this town and why it is the way it is. I think it's a very sad scene, actually. Is it as sad as, like, the opening montage of Up or the ending 10 minutes of Toy Story 3? I don't think so, but it definitely gets its feeling across. However, the most famous song in this movie is, of course, Life is a Highway by Rascal Flatts, in which the band actually performed a music video with clips from the movie in it, and that was really good. I don't even really like country songs, but I love this song. I thought it was a great addition. It's pretty early on in the movie, but it was still great when it fit in. The other songs are really good, too. Like, we've got a few older 50s songs and some remixed new versions. A lot of this is really good. Pixar, they've never failed yet, and this certainly isn't a testament to starting. Now, there's one issue I do have the film, and it's a little bit too formulaic at times. In a sense, it follows the entire arrogant guy turned good by getting lost that we've seen again and again. However, they do it with so many twists and new additions to this that you really kind of forget it, mainly because it's done with cars of all things. But again, most of the time you won't even care about it. Like, a few times it sticks out, but that's all. And the bottom line is, for Cars, it's a really entertaining movie. Definitely nowhere close to Pixar's weakest, if I can even put weakest and Pixar in the same sentence, but I really enjoyed this movie for the characters, animation, and even story at some points, and especially the soundtrack, which really provided a good feeling to it. Before I give my star rating, though, I want to talk something over. I want to ask you guys if any of you find this a little bit creepy. Now, this is my 6th series review after Scream, Pirates of the Caribbean, Hangover, Kung Fu Panda, and X-Men. This movie is Pixar's 6th original film. By original film, I mean not a sequel. That's why I don't count Toy Story 2. It came out in 2006, and a lot of it takes place off of Route 66. What's with all the sixes here? Just find that ironic. Oh well, nothing to hit on the movie. I want to ask you guys, though, if any of you think that's a bit creepy. But, so, final verdict, 4.5 stars out of 5 for Cars. Really fun movie. Definitely goes up among Pixar's best. Nowhere near Pixar's weakest. And I hope Cars 2 impresses me to the same extent tomorrow. You can find all my movie reviews on my YouTube channel. If you have a movie you'd like me to review, comment on this video or in my channel. And until next time, peace!